Casey and I knew right away that there was just something really special. He proposed to me right after he graduated law school. We got married 6 months afterwards. We had an amazing wedding in the sunshine up in Suncadia. And we got pregnant within a few months with our son Ford. Right when Ford was born, he had a really low birth weight and he wasn't eating. We couldn't get Ford to suck or swallow. The medical professionals around us didn't seem to be concerned and brushed us off a lot. And finally, at 4 months, his doctor listened to us and she was alarmed. And then he was hospitalized for failure to thrive. But what that did was it got all the professionals looking and paying attention and all agreeing that something was indeed wrong with Ford. We eventually saw a geneticist. The name of the gene is actually called CTNNB1. When you're not making enough of that protein, it causes a waterfall of effects. Oh, you're so big.
Ford has a wide variety of symptoms. He can't sit, he can't walk, he can't talk, he can't eat. He has autism. He has spasticity in his limbs, so they flail a lot.
We give him water and his medicines through his G-tube. He throws up a lot. So you just got to keep your eye on him and how you position him. He has a 3-year-old sister named Ezzy who he's just enamored by.
He is better at being joyful than any other person that I've ever known.
He loves being a jokester. He's adventurous.
When we got our diagnosis, there were about 30 people in the world with this diagnosis. We're up to, I think, about 200 or 300 now. But the oldest people with CTNNB1 are early 20s. We really don't know what happens after that. I think if you focus on the challenges, you will get lost in them. It is a constant level of stress. There is no point at which everything is turned off and you can just relax.
You grieve the life that you thought you were going to have, and you grieve the life that you thought your son was going to have. And then it happens with like every milestone, right? Like every time I see another kid do something that Ford should be doing, it happens again. And when it's prom, it's going to happen again. So that is just like a continuous thing that you face as a parent when you're raising a kid like Ford.
I found out about the friendship circle because Effie, I'll let her tell that story.
Actually, I do have a story. We were all at Mercerdale Park, and it was a beautiful sunny day on a Sunday, and we were taking a family walk. And this woman, and she had these 3 strapping young boys with her, she got down and she held her arms out and she was looking straight at Ford and she said, "Hi!" And her boys just started saying hi to him, and they showed him their dog and asked him if he wanted to pet it. And I was standing there like, is this really happening? Because most of the time people don't approach us. And most of the time people just stare at Ford. And as she was walking away, she said, "Hey, these are my boys and they volunteer at the Friendship Circle. You should take your son there."
Friendship Circle is an organization who works with kids with disabilities. You get paired up and you have the opportunity to make these connections, which are genuinely lifelong.
So he has two buddies, Lily and Lexi. So they'll just come over and swoop him up. Yep. When I first experienced that, I was like, "You're just gonna take Ford and I'm gonna be by myself for an hour? Okay."
He's always super excited. He's got lots of energy, and we usually go on a walk to the skate park. Ford is obviously in a wheelchair, but we take him up and down all of the ramps, and he loves it.
They could be doing anything with their time, and instead they decide they want to spend it with our little boy.
The Sunday Circle is the place that we take him to on Sundays. So for 2 hours where you can either drop him off and just leave him to play with all the kids. They usually have stations set up and like paints or bubbles.
And we have games, snoozling, we have karate, music.
And there's all these amazing kids and adults who are capable and excited to just hang out with your kid. You can just leave and they just take care of it. It's amazing. Which you can't do that with a kid like Ford anywhere.
He is being included and given friends and people that want to be there with him. That doesn't happen in our lives, and that's part of what makes the Friendship Circle so special.
You know, there's like so many aspects to Friendship Circle, which I think is like the best part about it is there's not just one thing that you can be a part of. It's not just Sunday Circle. There's Friends at Home and TYA and movie night, and we go to We Rock.
We Rock the Spectrum has been something that Ford loves. It's this really cool play area that is designed for kids that have disability. Ford in his wheelchair is able to get around to a lot of the different things to play there, and he loves it.
Every 6 weeks or so, they actually have just a mom's night out. Esther rented a boat for us on Lake Washington, and she brought snacks and wine, and we just watched the lake and the sunset, and it was so amazing, and they just did that for us. And then they've brought paint over to our house, and we've had like virtual paint nights, and you know, had a glass of wine and met a bunch of other moms. Like, it was just fun and easy.
I like to say a lot that Ford taught me how to walk through life with grace. I think to me it just means that when I met Ford, I watched how much he loved life with his own circumstances, and it kind of taught me that even though I have my own circumstances, I'm allowed to be able to not have everything so serious.
I have been a school counselor for the last 25 years. I started out just as a therapist at a psychiatric hospital. I'm seeing more and more anxiety and panic attacks, and suicide ideation is just on the rise.
My sophomore year of high school, I actually had debilitating migraines that came out of nowhere. I missed tons and tons of school. I did not go to school my sophomore year, and it caused a severe anxiety around leaving my house. I was terrified of not feeling well. What if this happens? What if that happens?
As this pandemic kind of heated up and we were home a lot, I could really see some changes in Lily, and I know that so many other kids are struggling as well.
I, at some points, would not want to leave the house. I always was anxious about something coming up. It's just not talked about enough. People don't want to talk about it, and it goes hand in hand with the stigma around mental health. If people do want to talk about it, they don't know where to talk about it. Friendship Circle started their You Matter program recently.
It's a place where, you know, teens can come together in a very kind of low-key environment and talk comfortably with each other about any issues that they're having, and just in a safe place and with other people who really understand.
The kids can offer ideas to one another, and facilitated by a professional. Kids support each other, they share ideas, things that work for them. They build friendships amongst one another.
I definitely think this program is vital. I think You Matter is something that we are trying to get also in schools because it's so important.
Friendship Circle has really impacted Lily's life in so many ways, and our families too.
I feel so lucky, and I'm so thankful for Ford. Ford has honestly taught me so much, and I feel like he's my little brother.
Something that I love about the Friendship Circle and that I want them to know is how amazing it feels to feel normal. And I get to feel like a regular person with my rad little disabled dude, and we just get to be. And that is so fun, and it's so special.
I think really it just boils down to being thankful. I'm thankful to the Friendship Circle that they've reached out to us, that they have been so caring and inclusive. It's not something that we are used to experiencing as parents of a child with disability. And it means more than we can say, so thank you.